Hi, everybody. You've made it to Monday. Welcome to Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the Big and Furry Bovine. Joining me is Brian and Dalton Schultz in the panel, and better known as Bronk. And anyone else who wants to be in here, we'll see. This is Thanksgiving week. So, a lot of times people are with family and doing other things and busy out and about, shopping, running around, doing whatever it is people do.
It's the normal week here, man. We don't give a shit about Thanksgiving, although we do have Black Friday now.
Yeah, ever since that BLM thing, they claim Friday now too. I mean, it's
exactly. Like Friday's all black every Friday.
So today, before we get into the aftermath of the Browns' win on Sunday. A lot going on that affects the Cleveland Browns.
Well, first thing, because I live in a cave, so I may not have heard any of this.
Myles Garrett is, of course, not going to play against the Jaguars. We kind of knew that. But what we didn't know is that the Ravens, who are having all kinds of grief on the field now at 6-4, that Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins, former Ohio State running back, have tested positive for coronavirus. And to quote the article, quote, it's a major blow to the Ravens backfield just days before Thursday night's game against the Steelers. That's right. There's no chance that either Dobbins or his running mate there are it's going to leave Gus Edwards is the guy. And Ingram was little used this year. I mean, and he was an All-Pro last year, and the feeling was that they really wanted to utilize the younger back more. And Dobbins now picks what a horrible time for this to happen. But Brian, you're hearing that more people in that organization, not just these two, are looking at positive COVID.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the contact tracing, but some people were speculating that it could be as high as 9 in the Cleveland Browns Daily chat while we were listening to the report.
Well, it's interesting because what I'm seeing is an update to the story. It says contact tracing is complete. The only other player going on the reserve COVID list as a close contact is nose tackle Brandon Williams, who will have to quarantine for 5 days. Now, I don't know if Brandon Williams is a big defensive piece or if he's a bench player for the Ravens, but quarantining for 5 days puts him out. 2 other staff members, not part of the coaching staff, also tested positive, but according to Harbaugh, no other players did. The coach said the game on Thursday will be played as scheduled. So,
well, then it could have been nine people total.
Yeah, I mean,
so, I don't know.
But it's odd that it would hit both running backs. That's just really not such a good thing. To go one step further, Lamar Jackson has done it again. And,
that's what they get for sharing a Happy Meal.
Lamar Jackson, who first was, they're our kryptonite in reference to the Chiefs. And then they know our plays before we run them. Now had this to say after their loss to the Titans, quote, "It looked like that team wanted it more than us." Now that's what you call throwing your teammates under the bus. The Ravens were ahead 21-10 in this game and ended up losing 30-24 on a walk-off 29-yard touchdown run by the Derrick Henry, which isn't surprising. Lamar Jackson focused on the Ravens taking their foot off the pedal for the loss. It looked like that team wanted more than us, Jackson said. They were playing physical. When we went up, I felt like we just took our foot off the gas. But we just have to keep it going for the team.
Wow, there's problems there, man.
And let me tell you something else. We were all in our own la la land watching the Cleveland Browns, but the start or prior to the start of the Ravens and Titans game was that the Titans came out on the field surrounding and camping out on the Ravens logo at midfield and immediately started yelling out to Harbaugh and trash talking Harbaugh in the battle of the bullies, because this is what, this is what Harbaugh preaches as far as toughness. And I said, when we were talking about how this game was going to turn out on Friday, that there was a mention that I made that Vrabel's cut of the same mold. I mean, and of it's all macho kinds of
stuff. Not quite as psychotic as the Harbaugh family are. Nice look for the dog in the background there.
Yeah, that Woggy dog. But, so they came out trash talking Harbaugh, and there was then the two coaches started yelling at each other, and it was like two bulls, two bull seals. No, bull seals, how they bang each other, Yeah, and God almighty. And when it comes push to shove, somebody blinked, and it was the Ravens, who were the less physical team, and their quarterback afterwards saying they were playing really physically. Take note of this, Cleveland Browns.
Oh, exactly.
Front runners can be front runners, but let's see how tough the Ravens really are come push to shove. If they lose Thursday, and the only thing that could save them is if Ben goes down, or if the Steelers simply are somehow not awakened after being lulled into a 27-3 easy win against the Jaguars, they're looking at 6-5. And the reason that this is of importance to us, if we go 8-3, think of it this way. 11 games, 5 to play. We go 3-2. They have to go 5-0 to bypass us, to overtake us. That means from their record, now there are other teams competing besides us and the Ravens, but you go to 6-5, and if we can get by the Jaguars and go to 8-3, this is shrinking down. Opportunity now is shrinking down. It's a horrible time for this to be happening to the Ravens. And it's not that, again, I have nothing against them, but at this point now it's really going to rest on Lamar Jackson's ability to get yardage throwing the football and also running the football. They're going to have to do what the Raiders did to us to control the game, and he hasn't.
Meanwhile, they're going to be facing like 8-man fronts.
Well, sure, because
to prevent him from getting anywhere.
There hasn't been an 100 rating game in the last 6 for Lamar Jackson, and people are beginning to wonder. The completion percentage is down. The yardage per attempt is down. He seems to be overutilizing tight ends and one wide receiver and not using the rest of his team. And there appear to be problems predicated on, I know in the fan base, there's been a long undercurrent that Harbaugh was not the right guy. And before this, we really got the feeling that Greg Roman was utilizing a run-based offense because maybe there wasn't as much of a passing game as everyone thought. Then all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson started doing wonderful things passing the football. It's gone away. So with that, they're 6-4, looking down the throat of 6-5. Something else, not Browns oriented, but affecting the Browns. And this is my what in the fuck are they thinking moment. You have the Miami Dolphins, who started out the season starting a 37-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick. We know who Ryan Fitzpatrick is. He's Mr. Hot and Cold, and he's 37 years old. They wanted to groom their young quarterback, which they did. And when they figured, well, maybe the season's going to swing one way or the other, we might as well play the young kid and let him do his thing. Team starts winning, and they go up to 6-3. They go out to Denver to play. The kid has a bad 3 quarters, and they lift him. They don't give him a chance to prove himself in the 4th quarter of the game. Instead, they hand the reins back over to the 37-year-old guy when they weren't winning. what in the fuck are they thinking in Miami? What is the front office and the head coach thinking?
I was going to bring that up because I saw that in Red Zone. I couldn't believe what was going on. Yeah, dude.
Very strange. And the other thing I can tell you is that Ryan Fitzpatrick said, no. Tua's the quarterback of the team. No question. He's the guy. And, the coach saying, no, moving forward, Tua's the guy. And it's like, if he's the guy, why would you pull him after 3 quarters? How can that possibly help that young man? How many times have you seen quarterbacks have difficult times in games? And you look at Baker Mayfield, it's a good example. Guy who played 1 or 2 horrendous quarters, really looked terrible. And then in the second half comes out like an assassin. You give a man, when you're 6-3 and you're in the playoff hunt and that kid helped you get there, and you're playing a team that doesn't really know how to win in the Broncos, you give him a chance. And it's not that Ryan Fitzpatrick did badly while he was in the game, but he did end up throwing an interception that cost them in the end zone. And this is the history of Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what you get. But unbelievable. So now they're 6-4. The Raiders couldn't keep the Chiefs out of the end zone. Now, it's not that the Chiefs really kept the Raiders out of the end zone particularly well either, but 35-31, they're now 6-4. We are now number 6 as far as the 6th seed and sharing a 7-3 record. But there are reasons for why, whether it's collective amount of victory or head-to-heads or other things. We are now, and I clicked it up here. The Bills are 7-3. They win the tiebreak over Indy based on win percentage in conference games. Okay. Indianapolis wins the tiebreak over Tennessee based on head-to-head win percentage. Tennessee wins the tie over Cleveland based on win percentage, but that could all change. Because if we beat the Titans, then that preempts everything. The Raiders win the tiebreak over Miami and Baltimore based on best win percentage in conference games. And the Ravens win the tiebreak over Miami based on strength of victory. So this is the way it spells out. We are 6th, and the Titans are 5th. And if we can get by the Jaguars, we can really flip this thing. Kudos to the Colts for winning a game that wasn't easy to win. Kudos to them. And they remain at up at 7-3, and that's that. So a lot happening that the Browns didn't facilitate, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Joe Burrow for a moment. This is just a horrible thing. I knew when I saw the video, I didn't want to know, but a torn ACL, a torn MCL.
Oh, really?
Plus more knee damage. Get this. He got nailed. This is the kind of thing that you end up with like in a car accident. ACL, MCL, torn, other structural issues. They would not confirm the extent of the knee damage, but said that Burrow will be out for the remainder of the season. No joke.
Next year.
They did not have a timetable for his expected surgery or a rough estimate for his return, aside for some point during 2021. What this tells me, the X factor in all this is what this additional damage is.
Patellar tendon, maybe?
Right. I mean, you see, surgery is an option. Once the swelling subsides, you go in and get the surgery done. But if you have peripheral damage as well, that could put off the surgery for a longer period of time because there may be something else in there that needs to be done. And, this could be a very long procedure, and it could be something where multiple things are healing that will alter the timetable of his ability to come back. This is a huge blow to an organization that didn't need it. But second of all, another indication of when, and I'm going to use the old Cleveland Browns as an example, and I'll use the Bengals as an example, and the Jets and Sam Darnold as an example, and I'll use the teams of the Redskins who come for Dwayne Haskins. And when these teams come to your door, and basically you come to theirs, if you're the number one pick overall, you don't choose where you go, John Elway. You go where the money's thrown, and he went to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati killed Carson Palmer, and Cincinnati has killed Akili Smith.
One of the things that I because Jarvis Landry tweeted at Joe Burrow and said, "We're sending our prayers." One of the things I tweeted back that they should talk to JC about the fucking surface or turf at the Washington Stadium, because all it's doing is eating quarterbacks like chicken McNuggets.
Yeah, but if you look at the slow-mo on that, this was an incredibly odd thing. It was a 3-step drop, and he's in the pocket, but it's collapsing fast. And from his left, he throws the ball, but he's not, because of the crowding of the pocket, he's not able to stride into the throw, leaving his left leg like a stilt. I mean, fully extended. And that's where he gets hit, is with that leg fully extended. And that's what makes me think, there are other things that could be affected in this, including lateral collateral ligament. That would be the holy trinity, sport fans, of ligamental damage. But yeah, an ugly thing, and you hate to see it.
He may not play again if that's the case. I mean,
he'll play again, but what it does is it points out you get a good payday to go to a lousy football team, and it may not be worth it, because I've seen this happen over and over again. And look what Washington did to RG3. I mean, this is, he was injured already, and they put him back out there and let him scramble around until they finished him for good.
Well, last year when they was it 2019 or 2018 when all of the Washington quarterbacks got injured?
Yeah. I mean, it's
starting with Alex Smith, then his backup, and then the third stringer also got hurt on that same turf.
Yeah, it's I don't know what to say, except that he's the quarterback of the future. But when you look at this and you start out this young with a catastrophic, explosive knee injury, this will catch up to you one way or the other. This is not.
You won't be able to scramble. I mean, or step up. I mean.
Well, and they're going to have to restrict what he does and what he can do. And he's already predominantly a pocket passer, but with the ability to break up the field and run. And you're not, they have too much invested in him. And at this point, I don't know. I mean, and it can happen to any quarterback in any given week, but you can almost predict that when a team is so bad that they have Giovanni Bernardo as their first line running back at this point, Mixon's gone, on the IR with knee, and Mixon's been hurt the last 2 years, and they don't have a running game. They don't have an offensive line either. So much of what they were doing was predicated on drop back 3-step throw and really making the reads a little bit simpler for a rookie quarterback. But you can't put a young guy in a situation where there's no running game, where he's throwing 50 times a game. This is what we talk about all the time. And here's the problem for Lamar Jackson. This whole season is is just going up in smoke for the Ravens, and it's heading downhill fast like a big fucking shitball gaining speed. And if he has no running game against the Steelers will hit him, because he's going to have to become the running back. The Steelers will hit him and will injure him. As sure as I'm sitting here, he's going to be a duck. He has to throw the football. They have to try the running game, but man, they can't allow him to be scooting around the open field, predicated on the fact that they have no running game. Dobbins was the guy who gained 70 yards in their last game, and nobody else gained, I think, over 30 in the game. I mean, except for Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson has even been running the ball like 50 yards a game as opposed to the previous 100s he was putting up. And if this sets them back where he has to do that for them to be competitive, it's going to be dangerous. He could get hurt. So that's a difficult thing. And I don't wish anything on anybody, but it's a situation that could really bite the Ravens big time.
What's going on with Denzel Ward? I heard something that he was having an MRI or.
Yes, there's something up with his knee, and we don't know. We didn't see it, but he reported soreness upon further examination after the game and on Monday morning. So usually these things are just preventative and making sure that it's not anything more serious. But the other guy also, and I'm trying to think who it was, Harrison. He had an MRI. It came up negative, but he's got a knee contusion in his day-to-day. There's a real chance that he would play against the Jaguars. But we'll see about Denzel. But again, he played a wonderful game, and that's,
Harrison had a knee contusion.
Yes, that's what it is. Nothing
So he should be fine.
Boo-boo.
Bruised.
Yeah.
Yep. Baker Mayfield had a 71.5 PFF rating, and we're going to go through the offense.
We won.
Chubb a 69.3, Kareem Hunt a 61.3, Dearness Johnson a 60, and Chubb had avoided 10 tackles, which is his career single game high on a wet field. I mean, what does that tell you?
It's Jim Brown.
And there's still no word on Janovich yet, too, and that's another guy.
It's funny you say that, Bronk, because my mom said the same thing.
He's Jim Brown. He's
Chubb and Hunt remind her of Jim Brown and Bobby Mitchell.
Yeah. No, your mom's a smart woman if that's the case.
I think somebody should do a real evaluation of the 1985 Browns versus the 2020 Browns, Biner and Mack, and the young rookie Bernie Kosar, and how that 1985 season, how that was built. And, the reason I would like the comparison is because the system all changed for Bernie the next year when we brought in Lindy Infante. But now this will really be, next year will be really the first year that Baker's had to work in this scheme where he has a preseason and a training camp to really get it down. And he'll know what it is to play this at game speed.
Well, I think there's going to be changes to preseason next year, not necessarily because there's still a lot of virus about, but because of the way it worked out this year, that they may not have 4 preseason games. I mean, we had this argument before, but I think there's going to be changes. We'll see what happens.
Now, here's something interesting that we don't get informationally from broadcast on television. The wide receiver PFF ratings: Rashard Higgins at a 78.9, Kaderil Hodge at a 77.7, Jarvis Landry at a 66.6. and Donovan Peoples-Jones at a 60.5. But here's the deal. Hodge had the 3rd best run blocking grade on the offense, and all 3 of his catches were for first downs.
Higgins, I think all of his targets, he caught all of his targets.
Yes. And Higgins and Landry each picked up 2 first downs on catches. Peoples-Jones played 7 snaps, all as a run blocker, and he had a lesser grade. But people were asking me why Kaderil Hodge, and I think the running game is so important to the Cleveland Browns that his ability to block. He's a bigger body and he's more willing to get his nose in there.
Well, and stealing the edge. I just watched the 40-minute condensed game, and I didn't watch it all that closely. But yeah, there were blocks on the edge that Chubb, was able to get to the sideline and make some yardage. So that's important.
Now, our tight ends didn't have great performances. 61 rating for Harrison Bryant, a 48.3 by Hooper, and a 38.9 for Njoku. Bryant had the top run blocking grade amongst the tight ends, and Hooper had the worst run blocking grade at a 48.3.
But that's partially because they were motioning Bryant into play fullback.
And
be the lead blocker. So he's gonna have an opportunity to be the higher rated blocker.
Everybody has a better game, a worse game. The highest rated offensive lineman, Wyatt Teller with a 71 rating, J.C. Treader with a 68.7, Bitonio with a 67.9. One intriguing whiff by Bitonio on a play that got somebody killed in the backfield where he just didn't seem to know who he was supposed to block. Jack Conklin with a 65.1, Kendall Lamb with a 61.3, and Jedrick Wills down at a 56.3. This would go as probably his worst game. The offensive line allowed just 6 pressures, led by Treader's 2 that were both hurries. Wills gave up a sack and graded 58.9 as a pass blocker, his worst grade of the season. Only Bitonio graded as high as 70 as a run blocker, 76.5, and Conklin had the top pass blocking grade at 69.5. But Teller gave up a sack and had his first sub 79 run blocking grade of the season at 69.5. But a lot of that in the beginning of the game, we were not getting blocks and we weren't getting yardage, period. So, again, the numbers tell part of the story. And, I wanted to ask you guys a question because this is the question that's being asked. Everybody can say that the Browns are 7-3, but in your mind, really, what is their identity? Bronk?
Running the ball, really. There isn't a lot of identity there at the moment. I think they're still working on it. Has the culture changed? I'm a bit undecided. Once we beat a team that's got more talent than we have, then maybe I'll think the culture has changed.
Brian, what do you think? I mean, who are the Cleveland Browns?
I would say they're an outside running team. Because if you look at every 50-yard run, it's coming from an outside pulling play.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's funny because every team wants to have an identity. What kind of a fucking identity you're going to have with a head coach who just got there, no preseason, no real training camp, and in the middle of what is still this virus that isn't going away and that is going to affect the NFL. That's going to be as much, in my mind, a predictor of what happens is who gets struck with what and at what time they get struck with it.
That's unfortunate. Actually, I can settle an argument that we had about a month ago. Remember you were saying that there was this offensive tackle that we drafted that, nobody knew who he was, and it was really, that was hyped up. And then, I said it was Austin Corbett and a few other people said, Sean Coleman is the guy that you were thinking of.
No, it wasn't. It was Desmond.
From 2016, when we traded him away for a 7th-round pick in 2019 for
no, the guy I was thinking of was the big monster guy, that Desmond, I forget his last name. Tutu, yeah. I don't remember who.
I think it was Sean Coleman. Anyway.
But at any rate, I think the virus is going to claim more teams' chances, and you just hope, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, that it doesn't strike the Browns the way that it's striking down the Ravens right now in a short week, where there's no chance of their 2 leading running back, and that's such a huge part of their game. Our identity, we're beating teams that we're supposed to, and look, our identity is that we're better than anybody thought we were going to be. We're not maybe the most exciting team in the world, but we, at the end of the game, 7 out of 10 times, we've had our arm raised in victory. And you can talk all about the hard schedules and this and that, but the Browns organization going into this year, I would have, and I said this before the season began, it's like, we're really playing at a huge disadvantage. We haven't had a chance to practice the system. We don't even know what we're doing. I mean, I don't feel bad for the Ravens. The Ravens are running the same damn scheme that they ran last year. They know what they're doing. The Steelers know what they're doing. The teams that we're beating know what they're doing. They're playing the same teams they were running before. So, just take all of this negative shit about, we don't really, like the Bears, or the Super Bowl shuffle. They had this image, the 46 defense. It's like, well, fuck you. Yeah, Desmond Harrison. Thanks, Browns gratification. That was the guy that we found out it was. Desmond Harrison, out of football. Yeah, out of his mind, too, from what I've heard. Image. What image do you want? We came in.
I don't care.
To me, the Bengals came in with an absolutely bad situation because starting a young guy out of college who never played a pro game in a system that he didn't have a chance to learn very well, and he did a great job with it. We were the two teams who were destined to be third and fourth in our division, and the Steelers and the Ravens were destined to be 1 and 2, right? So destiny is being altered here. The Cleveland Browns are the number 2 team in the division, folks. Wake up and smell the coffee. It isn't that the Browns are great, but what I'm going to tell you is that the image of the team is that they are keeping their composure. And when it looks like they're going to buckle, they're getting stronger in the fourth quarter and making plays that are helping them win football games. Yeah, Brock.
Exactly. We are coming out prepared in the first quarter, and then we are also playing a full 60 minutes and outplaying people in the fourth quarter. And we have not done that since, since your dog, since Kibble was a pup. It's been a long time since we've come out and played in the first quarter and played all the way through to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Krembley, math is an interesting subject to me. When you lose 2 games as badly as we lost to the Steelers and to the Ravens, that's going to make
Raiders too. That was a bad loss.
Yeah, but not numerically. Numerically, when you lose 38-6, and what did we lose to the Steelers by?
That was like 37 to fucking 7 or something.
Yeah, I mean, so you're down 62 points right there in 2 losses. So you're giving up more points than you've scored. Yeah, we've won 7 out of 10 games, and again, I'm not going to sit here and cotton to negative thought on this. And I don't expect a team with such little practice to have forged some magnificent identity. I just think they're either buying into things or they're not. Our quarterback is playing more like a blue-collar guy. We're supposed to appreciate that. We appreciated it with Bernie Kosar, but Bernie didn't have all the progressive commercials and all the Hulu commercials and all of that stuff. And people are resentful that Baker Mayfield, his face is all over television, all over, they've sold him really well to advertising agencies as a spokesperson. But when push comes to shove, he's now a fucking prima donna on the field. Did you see him doing the little baby step dance while Chubb was chugging down the field in that 50-yard romp that put us down to the 5-yard line? He's happy as hell. I mean, this isn't just about him. And he understands what it is that he did badly in the game, what he's done well in the game. But he is at least not throwing his teammates under the bus like Lamar Jackson seems to be doing. And
not throwing the other team the ball.
Yeah, and he's playing within a system that is supposed to be a quarterback-friendly system, not to put up big yardage, but to limit mistakes. That was the whole plan. And, and that was the whole plan with the Ravens. Get it? The Ravens' offense was schemed so that Lamar Jackson would not fuck up when he threw the ball. Okay? That's how it all started. Then, all of a sudden, he started throwing the ball efficiently down the field, and it was like, whoa, so we got to open this up. We got to open this up a little bit. But, when they opened it up, two things happened. One, teams caught on to the scheme they were running, and their running game was less effective than it had been in previous years. Mm-hmm. So it puts more weight on the shoulders of that one position. And Stefanski's system is just the opposite of that. It is designed to be a balanced system that allows Kirk Cousins to get into the playoffs. It's designed for quarterbacks not to make mistakes and to have clear reads that they make. There isn't an audibilization kind of thing. And I'll say this, our play calling in the red zone for the most part has been very good. And Baker Mayfield is not taking a negative tact toward the offensive scheme like Lamar Jackson did when he said the opponents know what we're going to do before we do it, implying that it was really a very transparent scheme. You're not hearing any of that from Baker Mayfield. This is more of a team. This, if you want a star quarterback, well, then become a Steelers fan and enjoy the last year and a half of Rickety Ben. Okay? You can do that. But if you want a winning team, Cleveland, shut the fuck up. What you have is a winning team. It may not be the winning team that is so thrilling that you're ready to have a chubby every time you watch them on the big screen. But God damn it, they're 7-3 and they're in the playoff hunt. We have a real chance to go 8-3. And with that in mind, just shut up. Enjoy the ride. See what it is. You get into the playoffs and you get clobbered in the playoffs. People go, see, I told you. Because you're whiny little cunts. That's why. The fact is, yeah, I would think that if we end up having to play the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to kick us in the nutsack. Yeah, I get that. We're not evolved. This is the first year, and we don't even have a full year. We don't even have any practice under our belts. Just shut up.
Yeah, but if we play a third seed or a fourth seed, then we got a chance to go through to the next round.
So. And this is a really good point. Yeah. Bradley says it better than me. It's no longer Baker's team, but in a good way. And everybody wanted it. Oh, we wanted to get that number one pick quarterback who is just going to be a god. That's what
the pretty boy, glamour boy, face of the team.
And he was going to be the Joe Namath was for the Jets. He was going to be the Dan Marino for the Dolphins. He was going to be the Jim Kelly for the Bills. A guy who was going to last for a decade or more. And nobody wishes for Tom Brady because that's wishing for too damn much. But he was going to be the guy who was going to lead us in a battle and pull these games out with daring do. And that's not realistic. That's not realistic. And you should be grateful that we have a scheme that works because...
And be goddamn grateful we don't have Sam Darnold.
That's right.
Who's always injured, always missing games, always turning the ball over.
He's a lunkhead. Yeah, he's a turnover machine. And,
and constantly apologizing for his bad
Yes. Yeah, so, I'm going to have to do better. You get tired of that shit. If something happened to Baker Mayfield, like happened to Joe Burrow, if you're dependent upon one quarterback, Bill Belichick, and you go out and look who you lost to, you piece of human waste. You lived off of and fed off of Tom Brady all these years, and you accepted all the kudos, Bill Belichick, you lying sack of shit, cheating with other women in your office, Republican hack. You're a fuckhead.
Did you watch that 100-person NFL thing that they had Belichick on the panel? He was so smirky throughout that entire series. It was like 8 hours of Belichick smirking about how great I am. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, it ain't so great when when everything is catered to that one guy. But you should be grateful, Browns fans. I'm not telling you that Case Keenum's going to be the guy, but eventually you will have a backup quarterback who will be able to run this offense and scheme, assuming he has a good enough arm. And I think that's where Case Keenum kind of has a wet noodle. But be that as it may, we work.
Oh, and I'm so sick of hearing about, we need to bench Baker Mayfield and play Case Keenum. It's like, if Case Keenum was any fucking good, he would be on the field. Do you understand how much Stefanski wants to win to save his ass and not get flushed down the toilet like so many fucking head coaches have the last 10 goddamn years? The one and done club.
I think Amsterdam's making a point. BCOD for the Patriots. And Belichick.
Oh, all right. Well, here you go. I'm afraid to really expose him, because I don't know where he'll strike.
He'll strike somewhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of ammo with the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. And a fucking rock star will die of an overdose now, thanks to his cameo appearance. Thank you, BCO.
We already lost Eddie Van Halen. I don't know how much bigger you're going to get than that.
That's old news now. Anything that's like more than a week old.
So, be grateful. Interchangeable parts.
Edgar Winters just keeled over dead.
Yeah.
Black Cow of Death blamed for.
Yeah. Be grateful. Interchangeable parts can be put in, and that we have a scheme that if our offensive line and our running backs are healthy, that a quarterback can manage a game and we will have a chance to win. We need to get better defensively. This we know. But nobody thought this was anywhere near a finished product. So just stop your bitching, for God's
sake. The Baker Mayfield chat is just so tedious. It really is. It really is boring at this stage.
And before I continue on this mode, it could be worse, folks. You could have just traded for JaVale McGee, all right?
That I did hear about.
There's nothing to look forward to with Cavaliers basketball to have that idiot shacked in a fool in Cleveland. We don't need. I mean, that guy is just.
Oh, here's a question for you. How many years before LeBron's current contract is up so that he can come back and be old rickety LeBron playing his last years out in Cleveland after breaking?
I want to see that, because what the hell he had. So if he comes back crippled, so be it. I would like to see him finish his
career. I would too. It will happen. It will definitely happen. I just wonder when it can happen. Like 2023 or something, or 24.
Yeah, but who knows? LeBron's a freak of nature. You never know how long. He doesn't have to play at this point. It's how long he wants to play.
Exactly. Well, they probably want to play with his son on the same team. And the Cavs are going to be awful, so maybe they'll draft Bronny Jr. when he's 17 years old or something.
There is no system that the Cleveland Cavaliers can institute that will cover up their lack of size in their backcourt and when you're drafting a guy number 5 who can't really shoot a basketball very well, hoping he's going to become a defensive stopper, and then you've got 2 guys who are midgets out front who can't play a lick of defense, you're not going to win basketball games. And it's an odd mixture. Lightning fast Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Then you have Kevin Love, who has back spasms and can't make it up and down the floor very well. Matthew Dellavedova just signed on for another year. God bless Delly. We love Delly. But again, there isn't a way that the Cleveland Cavaliers will be anywhere close to a 500 team. And it's because that league is constructed in a way that everybody goes to where the winds go, except for Rajon Rondo. Late Tommy Heinsohn. I'm telling you right now, folks, from my fucking grave, I'm doing a podcast.
Zombie Heinsohn.
That magpie, Rajon Rondo, He got his ring in LA, and what's he do? He goes someplace else to a losing team. I forgot which team did he go to. It was horrible. It was one of the worst. It was like the worst place. It was like going to Sacramento or somewhere. It was like terrible. It was like, but you see, wherever you can get the money, you know. And I told you about that with Rondo. I'm never going to mention his name again for as long as, well, I'm not living. Okay. Tommy Heinsohn, ladies and gentlemen, who will go on ad infinitum even after his death. So it could be worse. JaVale McGee, for God's sakes. And get this. The thing that's crazy about it is what we got with him. You know, it's kind of like the value meal at a fast food place.
Yeah, we got the toy of the second round pick or something, didn't we?
It's a second round pick in 2026.
God, will all of us be alive for that?
I'm not going to be watching this shit anymore.
Wow.
It's like, 2026. That made this whole thing worthwhile for me.
Wow. I didn't realize it was like that far out.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, coronavirus might have killed us all by then.
Correct. Yeah. Or some
what do I want? What do I want to be watching this for? They needed a backup center because Tristan Thompson decided to go to Boston. Great landing spot for a black guy, by the way, Boston. I'm telling you again from my grave, Tristan Thompson, you may have been double T in Cleveland, but I can tell you, well, I can't, not on a podcast live, what they're going to call you in Boston. If you do win a championship or if you don't win a championship. Right.
The double T bag.
Wow, it's like an echo laugh to your laugh there, Brian. Wow.
Yeah, well, it's what would Tommy Heinsohn say? He would say,
bundle these, big guy.
What do you call a gorilla wearing a tuxedo?
Oh, I'm staying out of this one.
A gorilla. So there you have it. I wouldn't want to go to Boston in that situation at all. So the Cavaliers, to make matters even more funky, picked up 2 backup point guards that they're giving one of them.
These people.
I don't know who they are. I mean, this team is going to be just horrendous. All right, just horrendous.
They get worse than the Maniac Indians.
Yeah, it's going to be fugly. But at any rate,
win total in the teens coming right up.
So at any rate, here's something that's really nice. This is will the Jets go 0-16? And I know we can talk about it firsthand in Cleveland. How painful that is. I had to do an entire season of podcasts and halftime and post-game shows in a 1-31 2-year period. You have no idea. You never run out of ammunition. That's the good part of it, but it's so fucking depressing.
Well, they got the right coaching staff to go 0-16.
No fucking future, But, the Jets are flirting with 0-16. And running back Frank Gore, who's about 74 years old, says, I can't go out like this.
He's older than Al Gore or Leslie Gore. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's my party.
This is Frank Gore's inconvenient truth. You don't want to go 0-16, especially if this is my last year, he said after losing to the Chargers. I can't go out like that. I, me, mine, me, my. I'm 37 and I'm still talking about me, my, Momo.
Oh, it would be horrific if the Jets are 0-14. They managed to beat us.
Anything is humanly possible. Here's what Frank Gore said. Hopefully we can get a win and I can't wait until we get it. I'll be so happy. If it is my last year, I can't say I'm going out 0-16. It's like, oh, it's more than. Why do you think at 37 you're still in the league, you dumb fuck? You're on the Jets. They're not a professional team.
He's still upset about the hanging chads.
Woody Johnson's the only guy in the NFL whose first name is something he can't get.
The ambassador is Great Britain.
Yeah, right.
You know that? Scary.
By the way, for Jets fans, they've missed the playoffs for the 10th straight year. Mathematically eliminated on Sunday. That's their earliest elimination since 1990. It's the second longest playoff drought in Jets history, one behind the 1970-1980 dry spell and the post-Joe Namath apocalypse.
Wow.
Gore admitted that this could be the most difficult season of his career. He had 2 4-12 seasons with the Colts in and the San Francisco 49ers in 2005. 2 4-12 seasons.
Is he going to end up in the Hall of Fame just because he's like the number 3 all-time yard rusher guy?
I don't know, but he shouldn't get in if he's complaining like this. I mean, look, you're getting paid. You're not what you used to be. You're not even a facsimile of what you used to be. And you're playing for a lousy team, and that's why you're still in the league. You know what it is? It's like the guy. Why am I blanking on his name?
Richard Todd.
No. The running back that was the great running back for the Ravens that we got after he had brain damage.
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, that's how you end up, brain damaged and in Cleveland, unbelievable. If Fox had to cover that Cleveland show, it would not be on the air every week.
But amazingly, Gore and his agent have managed to miss Cleveland on all of these free agent signings.
Gore has had 16 years in the NFL.
Gosh.
And he had a season high 61 yards in the loss because he's expendable. It's like, maybe he'll just go down naturally. We don't have to pay him. You stick around long enough in the game, you pile up some yardage. Great. He was a fine football player in his day.
On the 49ers, he was damn good coming out of Miami.
Oh, yeah. And Adam Gase is 7-19 in 2 seasons. And, here's the deal. Adam Gase is a disaster. We knew this going in. He's another one of these guys who, I'm in charge here and we're doing this my way, and he doesn't know how to do things.
He's like Mangini without the brains.
Right. 7-19 in 2 seasons. He'll be gone. And whoever's the new coach ain't bringing in a 38-year-old running back, okay? So he's just got to get over this. The Jets could threaten 0-16 as only one of their remaining opponents has a losing record. And that would be the Patriots.
That would be funny. Oh, God. It can't
It'd be funnier if they actually beat the Patriots.
Next up, the Miami Dolphins. But who will be quarterbacking? Talk about creating a quarterback controversy for no fucking reason, It's just, Meanwhile, Flores is now saying there will be no wholesale quarterback changes. Yeah, meaning that there probably will be. It's.
Oh, yeah, the old vote of confidence. That one always works well.
Here's what his explanation was. Tua wasn't injured. We just felt like it was the best move at that point of the game. We had to get in 2-minute mode, and we felt like Fitzpatrick gave us the best chance to win the game. And we had an opportunity at the end to tie it, Flores said. But you see, that's proof that the Dolphins aren't as good as the Browns. All right? I mean, we don't take out our quarterback, even if he's had a rough game for three quarters in an important win situation. And because you capriciously felt like it was the best move at that point. I mean, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like, the Gillen fake punt run. That's like, yeah, you can wish anything into existence, I suppose, that you can say, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. He had a bad game. Rookies have bad games. He was 11 of 20 for 83 yards with a touchdown, and they could not move the ball. But his offensive line got him sacked 6 times, more than he was sacked in the 4 previous games.
Or the whole time at Alabama.
Show me any young quarterback who's going to withstand that beating. Just show me one, and I'll shut up. So, I just and here are the 2 shooting guards at the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Who are they?
I know that you're really looking forward to this, but my computer is loading.
They'll probably give you like $4 million each or something.
Damian Dotson, 26, who will sign. He's 26 years old. Will sign a 2-year contract with $4 million. He was a second-round pick out of Houston in 2017, and he spent the last 3 seasons with
Sacramento.
The New York Knicks. Better, yeah. The New York Knicks. His best year came in 2018-19 as he averaged 10.7 points on that massive 41.5% from the field and 36% from 3-point range.
Wow.
God, the guy can't shoot, He started 40 of the 73 games because the Knicks didn't have anybody else. But by the time R.J. Barrett arrived, Dotson disappeared. He's 6'5", appeared in 48 games this past season, averaging 17 minutes and a modest 6 points a game while not starting once.
Wow. So he's some sort of a wing guy who can't shoot, huh?
And here's the Cleveland Indians, the old Cleveland Indians story, all right? Why Damian Dotson? He reached double figures in scoring in 3 of 4 games against the Cavs.
That's great.
Yeah, do you remember when the Indians used to do that? Who was that idiot guy that they loved? They always wanted to get him on the team, and they never were able to get him. I forgot who it was. He was a stranger. I can't remember.
The one that signed in Carolina?
No, this is a guy who from decades ago. He played for the Texans and Texans. Listen to me.
Senators.
Yeah, right. The guy literally, I can't remember his name. I think he ended up even being a coach in that org. No, he came to the Indians and was coaching in the minor leagues. They still managed to get him in there somehow. And he was a nothing player, but he did really well.
Kobe Hara.
No, I can't remember the guy. He never played for the Indians, this guy, but they wanted him really bad.
Oh.
So at any rate, but that's because he played well against the Indians, and and that's what we have here. And the Cavs have also added depth to their roster, and that was with JaVale McGee. Ooh. And they got rid of Alfonso McKinney and Jordan Bell. Ooh. Mr. Cotter. That's
Wow. Why don't they just cancel the NBA this year?
I don't know.
Nobody cares.
High on it. I don't hear a lot of chatter and talk about it. That's for sure. At any rate, I'm done. I'm finished.
I'm done too.
I want to see how the rest of this week plays out. Let's see if we get any more pieces back. And we'll be talking again with you on Friday and doing our pregame analysis of the Jaguars. And
before we go, one last update was there was there was nothing new to report on Hubbard or the fullback.
Right, Janovich, and that tells me that maybe they're still, problems.
I think they're waiting for the 2 consecutive negative tests to let them back in.
All right, so there you have it, folks. Thanks everybody for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. We're going to be back again on Friday doing our pregame analysis.
Black Friday.
Yeah, and I will be here. You may not be, and I understand why not. But just remember, our analysis is better than your analysis. So that's the important thing. And we got to cheer our team on, man. 8-3, and I'll still be getting some, sorrowful.
Or even a double anal fisting.
Yeah. So everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey birds, your hams, and take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be healthy this holiday season. I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Good night.